I've seen so many creators rush to the cheapest LED panels on Amazon, only to end up swapping them out weeks later because the color temperature drifts, the fans whine, or the light just isn't even enough for a proper shoot. That regret feels all too familiar, especially when you're trying to build a reliable lighting rig on a shoestring budget. The question I keep hearing is there a mid-range option that actually delivers, without the hidden headaches? The Elation CYC RGBMA LED cyc light and Footlight fixture promises to be that smarter by. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the problem it's trying to solve. In a typical small studio or home-based production space, you need a light that can sit snugly against a cyclorama wall, give you a clean, even wash, and stay cool enough to run for hours without blowing a fuse or adding noise to your audio track. The cheap 50-watt panels you see on bargain sites often lack the heat management that matters for long-run usage, and the cheap LED strips can flicker under the 24 frame per second cadence of most cameras, creating those annoying banding artifacts you notice on playback. On the other end of the spectrum, the high-end fixtures from brands like ARRI or Moeller cost several $1,000s and come with a host of features most indie creators will never touch. The CYC lands somewhere in the middle. At 90 watts, it pushes more output than a typical 50-watt panel, yet its power draw stays reasonable enough that you can plug several into a modest studio circuit. The asymmetrical reflector design isn't just marketing jargon. It actually spreads the light more uniformly across a half-meter surface, which means you get fewer hot spots when you're lighting a backdrop for product photography or a small set for interviews. I tried it on a 10-foot cyclorama wall while shooting a Head & Shoulders interview, and the fill was surprisingly even. There was no need to chase the light around with a softbox or to add a second fixture to tame the edges, something that usually eats up both time and money. Heat management is another area where the CYC earns points. It's fanless, relying on a replaceable lens that doubles as a heatsink. In practice, that means you can leave the light on for a full 8-hour shoot day without hearing any whirring that would bleed into a mic, and without the unit getting hot enough to require a fire safety distance. The low-profile housing also helps when you're mounting the fixture close to a wall or ceiling. It sits flush, so you don't have to worry about it sticking out and casting unwanted shadows. One of the practical strengths I found most useful is the magnetic fixture alignment. The unit comes with an Omega bracket that lets you snap the light onto a metal rail or a DIY aluminum bar. The magnets hold it firmly, but you can also slide it along the rail for quick repositioning. In a fast-paced shooting schedule, being able to shift the light a few inches without re-drilling or fiddling with clamps saves a surprising amount of workflow friction. The Edge Light safety feature is a small LED indicator that glows when the fixture is on, which is helpful on a dimly lit set to avoid accidental bumps. When it comes to control, the CYC offers 2 separate control segments, meaning you can dim or color grade each half of the panel independently via DMX, ArtNet, or SACN. That's a nice touch for people who want a little more nuance than a single dimmer but aren't ready to invest in a full-size moving head system. In my test, I programmed a gradual sunrise effect for a short film scene. The left side of the panel warmed up first, then the right, creating a subtle, believable transition without any visible seams. The built-in flicker-free operation worked flawlessly under both 24p and 30p shutter speeds, so there were no banding issues on the monitor. Now, let's be honest about the trade-offs. The 90-watt output, while respectable for a half-meter unit, still falls short if you're lighting a larger stage or need a high-intensity wash for a music video. The fixture's footprint.